Hey yo, YouTube, this is me, your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa, 914 Washington County, New York, Arabia Barbosa, Arabia Barbosa, 914 Washington County, New York. We are in the motherfucking house, and I just want to let everybody know. Shout out to the chat, shout out to the chat, shout out to anybody that come into this video and see the video. I appreciate your view. I like your view. I love your view. Like and share the video. Hit the like button. You ain't gotta do a goddamn thing. Don't hit no cash app unless you want to hit the cash app. Shout out to the chat. This is your homegirl Arabia Barbosa, and I'm just sitting in my house. I got 2 phone calls today. 2 of my cousins. They be on YouTube too. They be in certain people chats. They like to talk shit. They like to speak up for me. I don't need nobody to speak up for me. And I'm gonna tell you something. When I met my family in 2003, I went to New York from South Carolina. I had lived in New York from the day I was born until the day I was 15 years old. Then I left. I went to the goddamn Job Corps Center. I went to the goddamn prison center. That's where I went. I went to prison and Job Corps. That's where I went. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. 914 Western County, New York. We in the motherfucking house. Arabia Barbosa is in the motherfucking house. Arabia Barbosa. I love the way that sounds. Arabia Barbosa. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. But I just want to let you know, my cousins got in touch with me. Is like, yo, Arabia, we don't like this. We don't like that. Okay, I'm going to calm it down. I'm going to stop talking about this and stop talking about that. They really want me to stop talking about my family dynamics. They want me to stop talking about it. They want me to stop talking about my family dynamics. And it's cool. It's cool with me. I don't give a fuck about all that. But I'm going to do what I want to do. Shout out to the chat. I went through the fucking foster care of the system in New York. New York system has a foster care system. And when them children get adopted, people think those children are really theirs. But you know what my father used to tell me? My adoptive father used to tell me. His name was Joseph. Middle name Isaac. A shout out to the chat. You know what that man used to tell me? He said, you don't belong to you. You belong to me. You're part of my money. You're part of the mortgage. You're part of everything that's going on in this fucking house. I've been a part of it all that time. When I went to the fucking foster care system at 18 months old, I got adopted by these people when I was 9 years old. Shout out to the chat. They didn't want me and my brother. They didn't want us. They went to their lawyers and said, how high of pay can you get for these children? How high of pay can you get? They didn't ask. The lawyers didn't ask my adoptive parents if they loved us, if they respected us, if they thought we was going to do this and that. No, they didn't do that. They wanted the money. So the whole system is built up behind money. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. We got a bunch of social workers on YouTube. They might be YouTube creators. They might be sending somebody's chats. I got people following me for years on social media. Not on YouTube, but on social media, period. Shout out to the chat. But one thing I do know is shout out to the chat. Hey, Crystal, thank you for coming in. Crystal, thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. But what I want to talk about in this one particular video, I forget what the title is. I don't give a fuck what the title is. My feelings are still the same. What was their point in having us in their house for almost 10 years? Then they decided to adopt us. Something don't add up right. Something ain't right. Something ain't clicking. Something ain't fucking clicking. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier before I did this video. I said, what the hell did my adoptive parents expect? What did they expect to come out of that goddamn house? Bunch of military people, bunch of people that got skills to work in the real world, because that's the way they treated us. You better learn some kind of goddamn skill. Shout out to the chat. My skill was to be, what was it? The BT1000? Oh, that's my biggest skill. What was my next skill? Working on construction sites, being a construction laborer. You know what that means? That means when I come into the construction site, I gotta see the whole site to know how to maintain that fucking site or certain sections of the site. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. Yeah, we had these discussions before. I'm in my house right now. I drank 2 beers. Yeah, I'm tipsy. I ain't drank beers in a couple of days. Now I'm tipsy. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. And what happened over the weekend, me and Lonnie was able to talk. We was able to converse. Thank God Lonnie had enough sense, common sense, to say, let me talk to Arabia with a nice voice. Shout out to the chat. She did it. She did it. But she talked to me and she told me what good things I did on YouTube. What good things I did on YouTube. She gave me the positive, because I was thinking about the negative. The negative. Going war with this one, talking shit about that one, fuck the other one. And Lonnie said, Arabia, when it got down to the real serious business, you did what you had to do. And you supported different women on YouTube. That's what I did. Shout out to the chat. She was right about that. She was right about that. And I think what she was trying to do was give me a positive stuff that I did. She didn't have to do that. She could continue to destroy me, She did not want to do it. She said, oh, hell no. No. This woman is too valuable. Too valuable. And a lot of people see me as being valued or shout out to the chat. I'd rather be valuable. Help a cause that's going on. Help a cause that's going on. Y'all need to go over there and sub up to Farmer Nancy. Y'all need to go up there and cash up her. Help that farm that she got going on. Shout out to the chat. I support real struggles in the world. And Farmer Nancy is all about feeding people. She taught me how to get some seeds in the ground and learn how to grow cabbages and all that. She taught me how to do all that. I said, Farmer Nancy, what I do about the cabbage worms? Oh no. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Farmer Nancy. Shout out to her. A farmer. An urban farmer. She got her own farm right there in Texas. Y'all need to go over there and sub up to her and cash up her once a month. Once a month. You don't got to do it every day. Once a month. A shout out to Farmer Nancy. Shout out to her. I knew I was never a cold-hearted bitch. But other motherfuckers on this app try to make me look like I was a cold-hearted bitch. Now, I told y'all who I was. Arabia Barbosa, 914 Washington County, New York, a.k.a. the BT-1000, a.k.a. Lucy the Vampire, a.k.a. the Jeepers Creeper on this shit, a.k.a. the German Shepherd in the motherfucking room. Now, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. I remember sleeping in this bed alone. And I went into them same dreams I used to have when my sister-in-law and them got murdered in 2011. That memory has never left me. That memory has never left me. You know why the memory never left me? Because Sergeant Crystal Reagan, two oldest children, said, Arabia Barbosa, you are our mother. You're a helper. You're assistant. You're a high priest. I went in there and I helped that whole house. And when I left, you know what Sergeant Crystal Reagan told me to do? Look out for myself. Now shout out to the chat. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Crystal. See, Crystal always be over here and looking at the chat. And I thank you. I thank you so much, my baby girl. I thank you so much. And ain't nobody fault. Ain't nobody fault that Arabia Barbosa is the biggest drunk on YouTube. I drink more than Lonnie would love. I drink more than her. So I must be the biggest demon. And I have done my share of dirt on these YouTube streets. Done it. I paid for it. Let me tell you something. Christmas Day, before Christmas Day came in, let me tell you something, Sister T addressed me personally. That's something no woman on YouTube has done. Other women did it in a soft way. She said, oh no, Arabia Barbosa. The BT-1000. The Jeepers Creeper on this shit. Lucy the Vampire. The German Shepherd in the room don't need to be talked to like she's a little girl. Talk to her like she's a full-grown woman. Shout out to the chat. But one thing I can say, all these women that has said something about me, did a video about me, whatever they did, approach me, and that takes a lot of heart. Takes a lot of heart and strength to do it. Now, shout out to the chat. Shout out to, it takes a lot of heart to confront a woman like me. A woman that is angry. I am the original BT1000. I am she. Shout out to the chat. That's what I do. I shout out to the chat. I shout out to the chat because I know the truth about myself. Arabia Barbosa is not perfect. Arabia Barbosa is a rogue. Arabia Barbosa is a troll. When I get ready to be a troll. But I use my own voice, my own face, everything. Let me show you what I look like. I am Arabia Barbosa. I am 50 years old. I'll be turning 51 on March the 18th. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. I don't care who's in here. Like and share the video. I appreciate your view. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm tipsy like a motherfucker. I'm tipsy like a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie. Before I even came on YouTube years ago, before I started doing my videos, I was under Tommy Sotomayor. I was a part of Soda Nation. Shout out to the chat. That's why I can't stand KB. Kwame Brown, you're an enemy. You're an enemy. We allowed you in because of Tommy. But now we see where Tommy is at. Shout out to the chat. That's why I tell all the female YouTube creators in the sector, when you address Tommy Sotomayor, address him and don't let him play you. Fucking fool. Don't let him play you. Please don't let him play you because he will try to do it. He couldn't do it with Cynthia G. He couldn't do it with Tanya TKO. He couldn't do it neither the ancient female YouTube creators that was on YouTube at that time. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Not perfect. I never said I was perfect. God Almighty know I'm not perfect. When I went to that laundromat this morning, that's one of my base points in North Charleston. Shout out to the chat. They know me. They know my name. They know my face. They know what I do. They know what kind of work I do. When I go out here in the morning, I go to a construction site. And the company I'm working for right now don't appreciate me. They don't appreciate nothing I do. Now shout out to the chat. The other company I dealt with, they appreciate me, but they think certain things are going to happen. No. My crew is all gone. When I was homeless, living in the streets, we had over 20 people in that one crew. Shout out to the chat. We had shoplifters. We had people that worked regular jobs. We had the panhandlers. 3 different groups of people. Panhandlers, shoplifters, and people that work regular jobs. Shout out to the chat. Let me tell you something. Birdman, he was part of my life for 7 years. Shout out to the chat. And guess what? Guess what? There was one woman on YouTube that addressed me about that problem. He was a problem. He was an issue. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Sister T for telling the goddamn truth. Birdman is no longer my friend. He's no longer my associate. He's my enemy. Been my enemy all that time. She had to take the sunglasses off my face and said, look at him for what he really is. Shout out to Jim. And he showed himself real clear. Real clear. Before yesterday. Real clear. You know what the policeman told me? Over a year ago, almost a year ago. If we catch you at this house and you had abused that man, you beat that man, you assaulted that man for any reason, we're going to take you down. Take me down to the county jail. Shout out to the chat. Sister T warned me. Nobody else spoke up. Nobody else. You kept your mouth shut. You know why you kept your mouth shut? Because you was afraid of what I was saying. But you should have spoke up like Sister T did. I'm going to tell you something. People might not like it. But Sister T was able to tell me about that situation with Birdman. Thank God for her. Because I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to listen. You know why I didn't want to listen? Because I was in denial. But there was one night I was at Birdman house. Some shit had went down. And then 2 nights after that, I told Birdman, I said, I will no longer come over here. I will no longer support you like the way I've been supporting you for 7 years. 7 years! This was a man I slept with. So Sister T was right. She was right. And I thank God for her speaking up. She's the only one that spoke up against Birdman. She's the only one. She's the only one that spoke the truth. And a shout out to the chat. I'm going to end this video, but I'm ending on this note. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to my subscribers, my moderators, my support team. Shout out to my YouTube creators. And people talk bad about Sister T. Nah, Sister T let you know where you going wrong. She might not be sitting in your chat all day, hanging out with you. She don't need to do that. I seen Sister T go out there and help the homeless. I seen her. And when I went out there to that laundromat this morning, that man and that laundromat said we help the homeless. We give them jobs. Arabia, Barbosa, stand here for a little while. 5 minutes. When you get your clothes in the dryer. Guess what? Those people came in. And guess what the church told them? Guess what the church told them? Guess what the deacons told them? Your job is to do this. Your job is to do that. Stay out of the goddamn way. When we, at the end of the week, we'll bring you home to your mama. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. But thank everybody. Thank my moderators. I thank my moderators every day. My subscribers, my support team, my YouTube creators. A shout out to the chat. That's what I do. Shout out to the chat. Brooklyn Lady Ellie, aka Brooklyn Moonchild, aka Jabba the Hutt. She's doing all these videos about me. I said I was not going to respond. I'm not going to respond because my work speak for me. A shout out to the chat. Every time I go to that laundromat, my work speaks for me. Every time I go to different avenues to get work, different offices, temporary services. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Sister T. Shout out to her. And shout out to my other YouTube creators. Even those that don't get along with each other. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Because all of you gave my voice. And Sister T caught me on Christmas Day. Christmas night. Before the hour turned into another year. To another day. Shout out to the chat. My father's birthday was on the 5th. My grandmother's birthday is the day. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Shout out to her mother. Shout out to her father. Shout out to the chat. I can't do no more, no less. A shout out to the chat. It is what it is. I gotta be true to myself. But at the same time, being true to myself, I gotta be true to people that's running with me. People that I'm subscribed to. People that sit in my chats. That's who. That's who. Because I was running my whole life, like my real life, into this YouTube shit. Into all social media. And I got called out. Not just by Sister T, but plenty of other people on YouTube streets. YouTube streets. And other social media platforms. And I accept what they said because it was the fucking truth. I am the BT1000. I'm the original BT1000. The original. Birdman told me to put makeup on, false eyelashes, get you a front lace, put you on a tight dress that will hide your tattoos. But would it really hide who I really truly am? And I told him, I ain't never going to appear like that unless I'm going to appear on Halloween. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. Everybody, thank you for coming over. Everybody, thank you for coming over. Thank you for coming over. A shout out to the chat. You know what thing I love about Crystal? You share the same name as my sister-in-law, and you got the same spirit she got. Shout out to chat. Every time I see her name anyway, I get the fuck up and do what I gotta do. People don't want that to happen. They know who I am. They know who I was way before I met Crystal. Way before I met Sergeant Crystal Reagan. And shout out to her. Go into my videos where I talk about Sergeant Crystal Reagan. Go over there. You will see why I'm so angry. It ain't got nothing to do with no YouTube. YouTube, it is what it is. But shout out to the YouTube creators that addressed me. And that is a big job. Sister T, oh Lord, when she did her video months ago, I said, oh Lord, I still got the videos in my other phone. I shout. I respect her. You know why? Because she had been watching me for a little bit, not long at all. But she was able to pick up my spirit. A shout out to the chat. She know what kind of spirit it is. It's a giving spirit. It's a loving spirit. It's not a spirit that hold grudges. I used to hold grudges. It was not grudges. I was hurt. I was hurt and disappointed and frustrated. And Sister T was one of the ones to pick up on it. But she said, Arabia, do what you gotta do for you. She sounded like Sergeant Crystal Reagan. Shut up to the chat. And I'm gonna look all over these YouTube streets looking for Sergeant Crystal Reagan. There's only 2 women on this app that resembles her. Not in looks, but in their mannerisms. How they treat people. Shout out to the chat. I'll watch everything.